Hey guys, what's going on? It's the Leather Bro here, and welcome to the history of the Jedi. Now, of course, I've got this plugged in because why not? I've got an interesting story to tell you. If you guys want to see what's going on, this is Star Wars: The Old Republic, but it's got all of the information that I have been looking for the past, say, 30 minutes, and it took me I don't know how long to figure this out. So basically, this is the story of Star Wars, and it goes all the way to where is it? It says it goes all the way to ATC, which is where the old republic ends and the new republic begins. I will put another video into the on YouTube for this. This is just a separate video. The reason why I don't have my face up is because, well, reasons being. Anyways, guys, this is the story of Star Wars. Now, for those of you who don't know, Star Wars is, well, everyone should know by now, but Star Wars is a sci-fi, science fiction, and it's fantasy. So basically, Jedi are force empowered. The force is what flows through all beings, and I'll get to that in just a sec. The force is discovered on Tython. This is BTC 32800. This is in the Old Republic years. So that's 32-800 millennia. So it's more millennia than it should be. Anyways, the philosophers and scientists from several star systems gather on Typhon to share mystical knowledge. The Force was discovered. Now, when the Force was discovered, they probably, now this is just my opinion, they probably didn't know what to do with it. They had to explain it. And to explain it, they say, oh, it's in all of us. It's midichlorians, which is it's basically a life form that is living in all beings in the Star Wars universe. Anyways, to continue, so I don't run out of time, because I'm pressed for time. If I run out of time, I'm sorry, guys. It's BTC 22140. Now that is, I'm sorry, I gotta do math. It's about 10 millennium, 10 millennium away. So 10 eons difference. Basically, the Force War on Tython. Now, it's a conflict. People were beginning to say, oh, we deserve this power. It's power, it's not peace. So, what they did was they fought against each other, and they ended up destroying Tython, which, of course, when Tython was destroyed. I believe we find out later that Tython was. Wait, am I thinking? I'm either thinking Tython or some other system. I'll have to look that up. But Tython is destroyed. It's the Force War. Basically, it's Jedi versus. Well, we can't call ourselves Jedi yet because the Jedi Order wasn't established until 10 years after the Force War, which is in BTC 22130. Now, the Jedi Order, peace-minded scholars and monks who survived the explosive Force War on Tython relocated and established the Jedi Order. Now, the Jedi Order, when it was if I could talk today, when it was established, it was a they're basically peacekeepers. They're not warriors. They're not power seekers. They sought knowledge, yes, and some sought forbidden knowledge, which I will explain what happened to those people later. Anyways, BTC 21400. So that's about, okay, so that's 130. It's about, say, I'm trying to think here. I think it's 700 years after the fact, just about. Founding of the Republic happens. Now, the Republic has been around for 25,000, or the Republic has been around for 25,000 years, and I will explain that later. Um, the development of the hyperdrive expanded the known galaxy to keep order. Several star systems formed a democratic alliance. Now, the Democratic Alliance means senators. It means all sorts of things. Now, the Jedi finally joined the Republic, which, though much remains unknown, sometime during this period, the Jedi Order swore loyalty to the Republic. We don't know why. There must have been some issue. Now, the second Jedi, and forgive me for saying this if I'm saying it wrong, the second Jedi Schism, I think it's pronounced, when a small group of Jedi discovered greater power. Now, this is the group I was talking about. They wanted forbidden knowledge. They discovered forbidden knowledge, and it was available from the Force. These guys turned into Sith. This small group, and the group is called the Lost 20, I believe, if I remember correctly. Anyways, conflict arose, and many Jedi were exiled. Now, when they exile Jedi, there's a huge ceremony which ends up, it sort of takes away some of their powers, basically. It takes away their lightsaber powers. Like, they can't, like, fight with the Force anymore. Unless they use the dark side. So they can't use the light side part of the Force anymore. The exiled Dark Jedi. Now, they're calling themselves Dark Jedi because that's what they are now. They became rulers of the native Sith on Korriban. Korriban. Korriban is a planet that is basically all darkness. The original Sith Lords were buried there when they died. There were 4 of them, I believe, that were buried there, and there were more, but they still haven't found nearly enough evidence that they were buried there. Anyways, and then that's where they began expanding their empire. Now, basically, after that, Master Nast Dural explains how the events of the Hyperspace War set the stage for modern conflict with the Sith Empire. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop this video, and I will make another one, because actually, let me see how long this video is. Hold on. Let's see. How long is this going to be? How many minutes? I'm sorry if it takes longer to load. Please load. Oh, don't be a douchey-doo, please. Please don't be a douchey-doo. I might not be able to do this because of my internet right now. My internet's being a piece of poo. I don't want to have to view the video transcript. Oh, wait. Oh, well, I guess we don't need this guy to explain it to us. I'm going to pause the video. I will be right back, guys, because I'm running on 8 minutes, and I don't think I have enough time to explain this all. So I will be right back, guys. All right, guys, I'm back. And basically what's going on is, when we left off, I was going to explain the hyperspace war. Okay, so among past threats to the Republic, the Great Hyperspace War stands above all other wars in the galactic history. I don't know if this is gonna... Oh, no, it won't. Okay. In fact, the battle we fight today is in many ways an extension of this same conflict. Now, the person who is explaining this to us, his name is Master Nast Dural. He's explaining it. The Sith Empire we believed we had destroyed in this war has now returned to avenge its defeat. The historical factors that set the stage for the modern conflict bear close examination. I believe the greatest factor of all may have been the way the Republic concluded the Great Hyperspace War. The Great Hyperspace War began at a time when the Republic had enjoyed millennia of peace, growth, and consolidation. In contrast, the Sith Empire was ending its centuries-long adolescent period. Undiscovered by the Republic, the Sith had conquered all the star systems near Korriban. They were now seeking new opportunities for expansion. At this time, a brutal power struggle had broken out following the death of the Sith ruler. Now, I can't remember. Oh, among the contenders was the Dark Lord Naga Sado, who is a very, very powerful. Sorry, I'm going off text here, but this person was a very, very powerful Dark Lord who didn't use an actual lightsaber. He used a vibroblade. I'm sorry. Anyways, to continue, whether by chance or by destiny, it was at this time that two Republic explorers stumbled onto Korriban. Nagasado seized this opportunity to gain political advantage. The explorers were imprisoned as spies, but Nagasado staged an attack to liberate the explorers and left evidence suggesting the attack was a Republic military operation. Leveraging the widespread fear of an impending Republic invasion, Nagasado rallied the Sith to unite behind his cause, a preemptive strike against their newly discovered enemies. Eager for war, the people embraced Nagasado as their new ruler. His first act was to launch a vicious assault against the Republic. The Sith armies attacked on several fronts, including Coruscant itself. Nagasado commanded all his forces from a meditation sphere suspended over a giant star. Oh, sorry. Shit. Where was it? Damn it, I lost it. Oh, there it is. Okay. The initial onslaught overwhelmed the Republic's unprepared defenses. The Sith Empire's victory was almost assured, but as it happens so often, the dark side turns upon itself. Naga Sado was betrayed by his apprentice. Though the apprentice was defeated, the attack did not succeed in breaking Naga Sado's battle meditation. The tide of the war turned. The Sith were lost, but without their leader's direction, and the Republic's forces soon chased the invaders back to the very doorstep of Nagasado's meditation sphere. Recognizing his imminent threat, the Sith Lord abandoned his forces and started a chain of events to destroy the nearby star. And nearby, or excuse me, and everything in its vicinity. Nagasado fled back to Korriban, only to discover renewed opposition to his rule. Civil war broke out, whittling away what was left of the Sith Empire's already weakened armies. Nagasado defeated the upstarts, but the Sith were defenseless when the Republic fleet attacked shortly thereafter. As the Republic fleet wiped up what remained of the Sith military, Nagasado fled again, this time into permanent exile on Yavin 4. It was at this moment the Republic made what might now be considered a mistake. The Sith no longer posed a threat to the Republic, but the Supreme Chancellor was unsatisfied. Jedi and Republic forces were sent to Korriban and other Sith planets to ensure that no remnants of the Empire remained. It was this action, which drove the surviving Sith to flee into deep space with the new Dark Lord who rose to take Naga Sado's place. The same Dark Lord they continue to call Emperor to this day. I believe this was why he led his people to rebuild their civilization on Dromund Kaas, and this was why they returned 13 centuries later to get revenge against the Republic. One must wonder how things might have been different if the Republic had handled the end of the Great Hyperspace War differently. We mustn't, we mustn't forget, though, the conflict at the heart of the Great Hyperspace War and the war we fight today began even before the Sith Empire rose to power. I'll elaborate in the next Hollow record. Anyways, guys, that was basically what he had to say. Again, this was I think it was Dural? Yeah, Master Dural. Again, the rebirth of the Sith Empire. This is where it gets interesting. this is where the Grand Moff uh, basically is. How do I explain this? He's pretty much a big part of the original Sith War. You know, the Empire. He's a big part of everything that the Sith stand for. Anyways, guys, I will continue this in the next video. I will string these all together, I believe. If I can't, I will post them all in parts, and I will label them part 1 through part, so forth. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all hopefully soon. Alright, guys, I'm back, and we are starting with BTC 1251, Rebirth of the Sith Empire. Okay, this is again Master Nasdral investigates the story of a Grand Moff who played a critical role in Imperial history. Now, hopefully, I believe, yeah, I've got this all set up. Hopefully it plays. And it won't. Okay. So, for some reason, there's something wrong with the videos. Okay. Anyways, here we go. Again, Master Dural is explaining the Sith Empire. For more than 1,000 years, the resurrected Sith Empire advanced, unchecked in deep space. All the while, we Jedi believed the Sith were extinct. Though several self-proclaimed Sith Lords challenged the Republic, they were all fallen Jedi, not true Sith. The true Sith were the biological descendants of the ancient red-skinned race native to Korriban. The true Sith were extinct, except for those who fled into exile 900 years ago. The success of their reincarnated civilization is testimony to the dark genius of the Sith Emperor. But the dedication of the Imperial people must be acknowledged as well. In our brief glimpses into the Empire's secret history, one name stands out: Grand Moff Odal Vaken, the founder of the modern Imperial military. As a child, Vaken was, I think it's Vulcan. No, it's Vaken. Vaken was one of the few hundred survivors who fled the carnage on Korriban. At the end, the Great Hyperspace War, or at the end of the Great Hyperspace War, I'm sorry, guys. I'm being pestered by a cat. Anyways, to escape their enemies, the Emperor led a small fleet of Sith ships into a hyperspace jump into uncharted regions. The exiled fleet wandered into space for many years thereafter. During this time, Vaken learned navigation and became one of the fleet's most respected pilots. The survivors finally settled on the jungle world of Dromund Kaas. There, the Emperor revealed his vision to build a new civilization of unrivaled efficiency. He promised his people vengeance, and he promised his people... I think that was a glitch. And he promised his people vengeance. He promised them an empire destined to dominate the galaxy, an empire destined to bring down the Republic. The Empire's role in Reconstruction was a visionary alone. He said, the Emperor's role in Reconstruction was as a visionary alone. He said to have withdrawn into isolation and left the logistics to the newly formed Dark Council, and to excuse me, guys, I'm so sorry, and to loyal Imperial leaders like Odal Vaken. While the Dark Council debated long-term plans and the Sith power structure, the young Vaken took on the monumental task of establishing order. Vaken drafted every non-Force user of age into the new Imperial military. He then developed the Imperial Military Training Regimen that remains to this day. With his army well trained, Vakin led a campaign to carve a footprint into the wilderness of Droman Kos to create room for the Empire's new capital to flourish. Records suggest, Records suggest that during the campaign he personally slew a rabid Terran Tatek on the site where the Imperial Citadel stands today. A Terran Tatek is, by the way, guys, a very, very vicious Force immune. So it's a very powerful beast in the Force. It's a very dark creature. Anyways, guys, after establishing the Empire's dominion on Droman Kos, Vakin turned his attention to constructing a new Imperial navy. Dividing his troops between engineering, mining, and manufacturing, he laid the groundwork for an ambitious plan to create an Imperial armada. By his own estimates, the task would take centuries. Vakin knew he would never see even a fraction of his plan's success. Nonetheless, he garnered the support of the Dark Council and started the work. It was the act which earned Vakin the honor of being the first Grand Moff recognized in the new Imperial military. Grand Moff Vakin was eventually killed during an Imperial campaign to conquer an alien system in deep space. He died in the battle of the bridge of the prototypes of a prototype on the bridge of a prototype Star Destroyer, a fitting end for the first Imperial Grand Moff. Though Vakin was lost, all those centuries ago, his plan and his name lived on to inspire countless generations who marched under the Imperial banner. Vakin's story represents the surprising loyalty the Imperial citizens show to an empire in which they all will be subservient to the Sith. I believe the roots of this loyalty lie in events of the Great Hyperspace War. I'll explain my theory in the subsequent report. Anyways, guys, that's basically the rebirth of the Sith Empire. Thank you guys so much for watching this part of the video. If I'm going to put it into a part, again, I might string it together if I figure out how. I know I'm a little incompetent. I'm so sorry again. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Hello again, guys. Thank you so much for coming back with me. Hopefully I was able to string these all together. If not, I am so sorry. Anyways, guys, we're going to talk about, and this is in BTC 347. We're getting closer and closer to the New Republic. We're getting so close, in fact, that once the Treaty of Coruscant starts, that's when it starts. Anyways, guys, let's continue to Exar Kun. The infamous Sith Lord Exar Kun had no relations with the true Sith Empire, but his fall to the dark side set the stage for the Mandalorian Wars and the eventual fall of Revan and Malak. By the way, Revan's still alive, you idiot. I'm sorry. As a young Jedi Knight, Exar Kun exhibited a strong connection to the Force. Through long practice, he achieved unparalleled prowess in lightsaber combat. Seeking to expand his knowledge as well, the young Jedi delved deeper into his studies of the Force and ignored his master's cautions, believing himself immune to the draw of the dark side. The Jedi Council grew concerned, observing that Exar Kun's thirst for knowledge was starting to resemble a thirst for power. but he was already beyond their reach. Traveling to the Onderon system, Kuhn encountered the spirit of an ancient Sith Lord, Freedon Nod. The spirit directed the young Jedi to where he might find the powerful secrets he sought, venturing into the Sith mausoleums on Korriban. Kuhn faced the tests from the fallen Sith Lords. When he emerged, he had passed the point of no return. His fall to the dark side was inevitable. To complete his indoctrination, Exar Kun journeyed to Yavin 4. There, like others who came before and after, he encountered the fearsome Masasi warriors created by Naga Sado. The Masasi captured Exar Kun and offered him as a sacrifice to the ancient Sith worm. Facing death, Kun fully embraced the dark side and channeled his hatred to kill the worm, empowered. The young Sith Lord then enslaved the Masasi and recovered an ancient Sith battleship abandoned centuries earlier by Naga Sado. However, ruling Yavin 4 was not enough. Seeking to establish himself as an undisputed Dark Lord of the Sith, Exar Kun attacked the Krath cult of the Empress Tita system. Among the Krath, Exar Kun faced another fallen Jedi whose strength matched his own, Ulic Queldroma. Queldroma had fully embraced the dark side after unsuccessfully trying to infiltrate the Krath and dismantled their cult from within. After a long duel, Queldroma and Exar Kun joined forces. Exar Kun as the undisputed Dark Lord of the Sith, Queldroma as his apprentice. Their armies, Krath and Masasi, combined to form the infamous Brotherhood of the Sith. The Brotherhood then waged a ruthless war against the Jedi and the Republic. After winning several battles, the Sith attacked the Jedi Library on Ossus. There, Queldroma struck down his own brother, Ossus was destroyed in the battle. The Sith were victorious, but their triumph was short-lived. Remorseful for killing his brother, Queldroma abandoned the dark side and betrayed Exar Kun. The Republic drove back to Yavin 4, where the Dark Lord enacted a ritual, sacrificing his armies to keep his spirit alive. Though unable to defeat him entirely, the Jedi were able to imprison Exar Kun's spirit in the temples on Yavin 4. From what we know, it remains there to this day. We can learn from much of Exar Kun's story. Of greatest interest is simply the fact that he was not aligned with the Sith Emperor in exile on Dromund Kaas. The fact that the spirits of the ancient Sith Lord supported Exar Kun suggests that they did not, and perhaps do not, support the Sith Emperor we face today. We have very little information about the Empire, or the Emperor, or his efforts to rebuild the Empire in exile. I will review the details we do have in my next report. And as you guys know, I do not have enough time, so basically what's going to happen is I will string these together if possible, and hopefully we will be able to do this. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. See you soon, as always. And now for the battle that everyone knows, the brutal war that caused Revan and his apprentice to flow to the dark side. Revan and Malak did not fall in a single moment. And this is the story about the Mandalorian Wars. Master Dural, take it away. Revan and Malak did not fall to the dark side in a single moment. They turned after years spent in war and in defiance of the Jedi Council. Reverend Malak's descent into darkness actually began with compassion, the compassion that compelled them to enter the Mandalorian Wars. Of all wars in Republic history, the war with the Mandalorians was the bloodiest, due to the largest part of the Mandalorians' ambitious leader. Mandalore, the ultimate, sought to create the most powerful army in the galaxy. To achieve this, he had to defeat the Republic and its Jedi protectors, calling together the Mandalorian clans and recruiting new warriors as Neo Crusaders. Mandalore began conquering unaligned worlds in the Outer Rim. The Mandalorians fought Republic allies on many fronts, but the Republic military wasn't fully mobilized until Taris was threatened. By the way, Taris was destroyed because of Revan and Malak. Basically, what happened was later on, after Malak betrayed Revan, Revan came back as a Jedi. That is during a video game, by the way, guys. If you guys want to go check that out, it's the Knights of the Old Republic. Go check it out, guys. Anyways, the Mandalorians fought Republic. Okay, I already saw that. In the first series of battles, the Republic proved victorious. Several heroes emerged, including the dedicated soldier and the talented pilot, Lieutenant Karth Onasi. And by the way, we will meet Karth Onasi in the game. He is a huge part of the Sith Order. By the way, I don't know why I have this out. Hold on one sec, guys. Sorry, guys, I'm back. I had to go take care of something. Anyways, to continue my story. To continue the story. Where was I? Oh, yeah, Karth Onasi. But Onasi and the rest of the Republic's defenders hadn't faced the true challenge. Mandalore, the ultimate, was secretly holding the bulk of his forces back to test the Republic's strength. Unleashing their full might, the Mandalorians devastated the Republic's defenses and began terrorizing systems from the Tingle Arm to the Mid-Rim. The Jedi Council refused to be baited into the battle, despite the Mandalorians' brutal aggression. The Council decreed that no Jedi should take part in the fight. Sorry, guys, I'm getting distracted by a little brat that I've got trying to get up on my desk. Anyways, as the war grew worse, however, a splinter group of rebels formed within the Order. Determined to rally to the Republic's defense, the splinter group was fuck! God damn it. Sorry. The splinter group was led by Revan and Malak. Joining Onasi and the rest of the Republic's troops, Revan and Malak turned the war around. Revan led the Republic's forces into a powerful push to drive the Mandalorians from Republic space. In the final battle, Revan single-handedly slew Mandalore. He then activated a super weapon which destroyed an entire planet and everyone on it. Revan's act destroyed the Mandalorian armies and ended the war, but sacrificed the lives of thousands of Republic troops and Jedi in the process. With the war over, dutiful Republic soldiers like Karth Onasi returned to their posts, but Revan and Malak pursued the remnant of the Mandalorian armies into deep space. It was there, of course, that Revan and Malak found the Sith Empire. Upon meeting the Emperor, their fall to the dark side was complete. Though it became a boon to the Emperor's plan, none suspected that the hand of the dark side played a role in the Mandalorian Wars. A closer analysis of the history suggests otherwise. The story of Exar Kun in my next report. I'm sorry, guys. Basically, he's going back in time. Anyways, guys, we're gonna continue with Malak and fuck. We're gonna continue in the next episode with Malak and Revan. Of course, Darth Malak and Darth Revan. Now, of course, Peace for the Republic, Onslaught, Sith Empire, Battle of Bathawi, the Empire changes strategy, Return of the Mandalorians, Mandalorian blockade is broken, Treaty of Coruscant. Now, of course, he's going. For some reason, they're doing this backwards. I think they screwed it up. So again, I'm sorry about that, guys. But we will see you soon, as always. All right, guys, we are back, and we're basically just gonna read the Jedi Civil War now. Sith infiltrators. We are now certain that the Sith Empire began laying the groundwork for its return as far back as the Jedi Civil War. In fact, it's clear that the origins of the Jedi Civil War itself were not as simple as we once believed. The Sith Emperor's first representatives to return to the Republic's space are well-known names: Darth Revan and Darth Malak. Revan is remembered now as a legend, a great hero of the Jedi Order. But that was not only after his redemption. Yes, this is including his redemption. Revan and Malak first rebelled against the Jedi Council by ignoring orders and assisting the Republic during the Mandalorian Wars. Revan's success in defeating the Mandalorians caused the Council to question its orders. But none realized how far Revan had already fallen. After their crushing victory on Malachor V, Revan and Malak chased the Mandalorians into deep space. It was there, on Dromund Kaas, that they encountered another enemy entirely, the Sith Empire reborn. We know nothing of what happened when Revan and Malak met the Sith Emperor. One thing is for certain. When they returned, they did so on the behalf of their new Dark Master. The fall of Revan and Malak to the dark side was complete. The Emperor sent them back to the Republic to make preparations for a full-scale Sith invasion. Now, of course, they actually... it's going to say it. Never mind. I'll just shut up. Their mission was to recover the maps leading to the ancient Star Forge constructed by the Rakata more than 25 centuries ago. With the Star Forge, the Emperor planned to accelerate the construction of the new Sith Armada. He would exact his revenge against the Jedi and the Republic centuries ahead of schedule. The ambitions of Darth Revan and Malak grew quickly, though. As they drew closer to the Starforge, the two Sith Lords began to have visions of their own empire. Fortunately for the Republic, Malak's thirst for power drove him to betray his master. He attacked Revan's ship, and he left his master for dead. The Jedi found Revan wounded and unconscious. After much debate, the Council made a controversial decision to erase Revan's memory and retrain him as a Jedi. But actually, they weren't going to retrain him as a Jedi mainly because when they erased his memory, they planted him on a ship with Bastila anyways. But anyways, working with Jedi Master Bastila Shan, well, she wasn't a master at that point, but what can I say? She was a knight. Let's just say that. She was a Jedi Knight. Revan recovered his strength, then rescued the Republic and defeated his former apprentice. The Jedi Civil War was over, the Star Forge destroyed, and Revan not only redeemed, but celebrated as a hero. Deep in Revan's lost memories, however, hid the knowledge of a lurking menace far greater than Darth Malak. Indeed, the Emperor's plan to accelerate his return was God damn that word. Thwarted. There we go. But the construction of the Sith God damn it! Fuck! But the construction of the Sith Armada continued. It would only be a matter of time. With the war over, Revan returned to deep space in search of the great evil. What happened after that is unknown. Although I know what happened. I'll explain that in just a sec. Though Revan's ultimate fate remains a mystery, we have learned much about the events that preceded his fall. The Mandalorian Wars will be the subject of my next report. Anyways, guys, of course, he's like I said, he's going backwards for some reason. Basically, what happened after that is Revan and Bastila, they basically abandoned the Jedi Order. Um, the Jedi Council sent them on a mission. They ended up, woohooing. Let's just say that. Let's go in sim terms. They ended up woohooing. No, they ended up having a kid, and basically, uh, Revan was to look for his mask, and his mask was the source of his dark power. Now, of course, now that Revan is he's not a dark Jedi, but he's not a light Jedi either. He's not a pure Jedi. He's sort of like, if you think of um, some Jedi with purple lightsabers, the purple lightsaber represents Jedi that aren't part of dark side or the light side. They're part of both, so they can coexist with the dark side and the light side. Both sides pull equally towards each other. So, anyways, guys, that's basically what happened. He ended up bumping uglies with with Bastila, and she ended up having a kid, which in turn, that kid was very powerful. I'm just going on fan fiction at this point, but it's not exactly fan fiction, considering the fact that he actually ended up actually having a kid. But he found his stuff. He found his mask on the Mandalorian planet, the home planet of the Mandalorians. And basically, what happened was he kind of turned dark, kind of not, and eventually he gets his powers back. After that, I have no clue what happens to him. But after that, basically, he's not a Jedi, but he's not a Sith Lord either. So they run away from the Jedi Order, and eventually, I believe they get caught and they get their Force powers ripped away from them, which is extremely painful. There's a very, very ancient and forbidden how do I explain this? It's an ancient and forbidden power that Jedi are not supposed to use because it's so very painful that it could possibly kill the Jedi involved. Now, basically, what happens after that, we don't know. We know that the kid is raised as a Jedi, and that's the extent of my knowledge. This is my knowledge. It's nowhere. You won't be able to find it anywhere online unless you go and watch the original Revan movie. So, anyways, guys, thank you again so much for watching. I will see you in the next part. I will try and string these videos all together, and let's continue on the Old Republic's history. See you guys soon. Hello again, guys. We're back, and welcome back to the Peace for the Republic part. The centuries preceding the Great War were a time of peace and growth for the Republic. Dozens of new star systems joined the Galactic Senate. For the Sith Empire, however, these centuries were marked by rapid acceleration in the preparations for war. An effort in which the Sith showed surprising cooperation and sacrifice. I have long suspected... Oh, shit. What the heck? Okay, there we go. I have long suspected that during this extended period, the Sith spent generations infiltrating the Republic political circles and even the Jedi Order. Reviewing historical records, I have uncovered strong evidence of one such case. Eisen Gint was a fourth-generation Jedi, widely considered to be the most promising Padawan in the Order. Having a similar heritage, The venerated Jedi scholar Master Beryl O'Vare took Gint as his apprentice. Together, O'Vare and Gint traveled the galaxy studying the mysteries of the Force. I'm sorry, guys, hold on. For some reason, my thing keeps dicking with me, so. Over the years, the pair became more and more ambitious, eventually taking a daunting mission. They sent out. Shoot. Why the heck is my. Sorry, guys, hold on. They set out to explore the ancient Sith temples on Yavin 4. Ooh, dangerous. Their goal was to investigate the final resting place of Naga Sadow, one of the most powerful Sith Lords to ever have lived. Hold on one sec, guys. Sorry, guys, I'm back. I had to take care of something. Hold on one sec. Alright, where were we? It was after you. Okay, it was after that. Arriving on Yavin 4, O'Vare and Gint discovered that Naga Sadow's twisted Massassi warriors had survived the centuries. The Massassi originated as a Sith subspecies, forming the backbone of the earliest Sith armies. But Naga Sadow subjected his Massassi followers to heinous experiments, turning them into dark, force-wielding monsters. Gint and Master O'Vare fought bravely against the Massassi, but they were defeated and forced to flee deep into the temple. There they encountered the dark energy still lingering in Naga Sadow's tomb. Weeks later, Master O'Vare returned to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant alone, wounded and half insane from the tortures he had endured. After a lengthy recovery, Master O'Vare told a tale of the horrors he faced, and of Gint's tragic death several years past. Then one day, Eisen Gint mysteriously reappeared on Coruscant, wearing the garb of Massassi warriors and bent on killing Master O'Vare. Possessed by the dark spirit of Naga Sadow, Gint attacked his former master in broad daylight. The brutal battle between the two was staged with all of the Republic watching. Gint's borrowed powers were formidable, but Master O'Vare won the day. O'Vare's triumph over darkness was celebrated, and the Jedi Council assumed that all was well. The question no one asked was this: why would Naga Sadow's spirit seek vengeance specifically against Master O'Vare? The answer had become clear after a closer look at O'Vare's Jedi heritage. His father and grandfather also went out of their way to visit the tombs of the ancient Sith Lords. They were a family of Sith infiltrators. O'Vare's mission on Yavin 4 was not for the Jedi. It was on behalf of his true masters, the Dark Emperor of the Sith. The Emperor knew the spirits of the ancient Sith Lords could be a threat to his power when he returned to the known galaxy a century later. O'Vare's trip to Yavin 4 was a preemptive strike to seal Naga Sadow's tomb and ensure the Emperor's only enemies when he returned would be the Jedi and the Republic. How unfortunate that we've only learned the terrible truth about Master O'Vare more than a century too late. Of course, this revelation only raises further questions. What other acts of dark subterfuge were O'Vare and his families involved in? This will be the starting point for my next report. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this part of this video. I will be right back, and I will hopefully be able to put these into parts, and if not, I will string them together. Anyways, guys, I will be right back. Alright, guys, it's the Leatherbro here, and I am back, and we're going to start with the onslaught of the Sith Empire in this episode. This is in BTC 28. The onslaught of the Sith Empire was an event unlike any other in the history of the Republic. The Sith materialized from nowhere and launched an offensive of colossal proportions. The horrifying reports from the Outer Rim seemed to portend the utter destruction of the Republic. The rapid onslaught of galaxy-wide terror and panic was part of the Sith Emperor's uh, meticulous calculations. His plan was flawless. Sith battle cruisers first appeared on the fringes of the Tingel Arm. Unaware of the ship's origins, we dispatched a diplomat. God damn it! I can't talk today. We dispatched a diplomatic convoy with a small starfighter escort. The Emperor wanted us to witness the full might of his forces before he attacked. The diplomats had just enough time to transmit images back. Then they were annihilated. Immediately thereafter, the Sith began a full assault on the Republic allies in the Aparo sector, which fell before the Republic fleet even arrived. Then our allies turned on us. The Sith had secretly established puppet governments on Belkadon, Sermpidel, Ruria. The Republic fleet suddenly found itself in enemy territory, fighting desperately on all sides. The Republic rallied every available ship to support the fleet, leaving only a handful of Jedi security ships to patrol Korriban. Regrettably, Korriban fell back into enemy hands without the Jedi Council even knowing about it. Overwhelmed and desperate, the Republic fleet scattered, fleeing from the Tingel Arm to avoid complete annihilation. Elsewhere in the Outer Rim, the Sith staged more targeted attacks, destroying our shipyards in Sluis sector, blockading the Rima trade route, and seizing control of the rich resources in the Minos cluster. Confused and in complete disarray, the Republic forces were unable to respond. Republic leaders and members of the Jedi Council arranged an emergency meeting in the Senate to prioritize God damn it! I'm sorry, guys. The galaxy's defense. But the session quickly became mired in politics. Irate senators stormed out in protest over decisions which left their representative sectors exposed to attack. Many of the Republic's diplomatic allies refused to commit to the military support to the greater cause. It was every system for itself. This was perhaps the greatest genius of the Emperor's plot. He had turned the Republic against itself. While the Republic played politics, the Emperor used this time to reconfigure his forces for the long push into galactic core. All might have been lost. In those early days, those early years, had individual Jedi Masters, and Republic military leaders waited for the Senate's orders. By taking matters into their own hands, they managed to slow the Empire's advances. The attack of the Sith Empire was the most well-orchestrated and carefully coordinated military maneuver. In the galaxy's history. I'm sorry, guys. Don't know what's going on with me today. Indications suggest the operation took centuries of planning and preparation. I'll elaborate in my next report. And of course, this is the next report. But of course, guys, we don't have enough time for it. So I will see you all soon. Catch you in the next episode. Well, string together video. I don't know. Hello again, guys, and welcome back. We will continue now. This is the Battle of Bothelwy. When the Emperor planned the Republic's destruction, he did not foresee the need for alliances. The Sith would sweep through the galaxy, systematically exterminating their age-old Jedi enemies, dismantling the proud Republic. But the Emperor's vision was cynical. Excuse me. He did not count on the brave sacrifices the Republic heroes were willing to make. After the Sith offensive seized the Seswina sector of the Outer Rim, the Imperial Armada turned its sights closer to the core, the Mid-Rim. Believing the Republic was still recovering from its heavy losses, Imperial forces charged into Bothan space, where they were caught off guard by the full force of the Republic fleet. The Republic fleet obliterated the Imperial squadron, and the Battle of Bothelwy became the Republic's first major victory in the war. The news spread across the galaxy, rekindling lost hopes and re-energizing exhausted defenders. The Republic moved on, but a courageous force of Jedi and Republic soldiers remained on Bothelwy to await the Empire's return. The vengeance of the Sith came swiftly. Imperial battle cruisers from around the galaxy closed on Bothan space to recoup their losses. God damn it! I can't talk today. A high-powered planetary shield protected Bothelwy from bombardment, forcing the Imperial forces to engage on the ground. Jedi Master Belth Alucis, several dozens of the Order's finest knights, and 4,000 of the Republic's strongest soldiers dug in to defend the shield generators, or die trying. The disparity was staggering. An unprecedented Imperial army, 50,000 strong, descended on Bothelwy's brave defenders. The defenders were undaunted. With no expectations of survival, they were mindful only of their duty. But overconfident Imperial commanders threw all their army's might into the direct assault, and their ground forces fell in droves. For every Republic soldier who died, 10 Imperials were killed. The Empire was forced to call in reinforcements. Despite defenders' determination, their lines were whittled away until only a handful of soldiers and Jedi remained. They were rallied to Jedi Master Alucis for a final stand. Imperial Grand Moff Zelos offered to spare Master Alucis if he and his brave comrades would surrender. Neither pride nor foolhardiness drove the defenders' decision. They were guided by the Force. They had passed beyond the fear of death. Their glorious stand will never be forgotten. Alucis and his men fell, but not before the Imperials were driven to retreat. The Battle of Bothelwy was a draw. The heroes of Bothelwy inspired bold New Republic strategies that would eventually halt the Empire's advances. In retrospect, though, the Republic lost too many systems in the early years of the Great War. The execution of the Emperor's brilliant strategy was flawless. Survival was the best the Republic could hope for. I have spent the time now piecing together the puzzle of the Emperor's initial designs, and I have a theory that is quite surprising. I'll develop that for my next report. Anyways, guys, thank you so much again for watching. Of course, we still don't have enough time for this next one. I don't think. Hold on one sec, guys. Let's check. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, this will be in the next episode. Or the next part of the video. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon. As always, catch you soon. Hello again, guys. We are back. And welcome back to another one of our pieces of the history of the galaxy. Well, the Republic, at least. The arrival of Imperial allies into the Great War was a devastating blow, from which the Republic never fully recovered. This was the second step into the Sith Emperor's master plan. Recent Republic strategic information reports proved that the rise of the Mandalorians was orchestrated by Imperial intelligence. We know extremely little about the shadowy organization, but Imperial intelligence operatives are clearly just as deadly as their Sith superiors. The galaxy's criminal networks wavered endlessly during the Great War, debating whether to back the Republic or the Empire. Although the Heart cartels resented the Sith Emperor for not including them in his pre-war conspiracy, Imperial intelligence somehow blocked the Republic's effort to win the Hutt's support. Scattered around the galaxy, Mandalorian mercenaries and bounty hunters faced the same choice as the Hutts. Some signed on with the Empire, but most remained independent. Scattered around the galaxy. Oh, shit, I already read that. Imperial diplomats made repeated attempts to recruit the galaxy's most infamous bounty hunters, but they were turned down every time. The Empire shifted its tactics. The Mandalorian mercenaries and bounty hunters often fought as gladiators for money and glory, a mark of honor in Mandalorian culture. The Imperial agents used this as their advantage, infiltrating the most prominent gladiatorial arenas in the galaxy as managers and sponsors, and even in some cases as gladiators themselves. The Imperial agents singled out a proud young gladiator to be their pawn. This young gladiator had always fared well in the arena, but with his new Imperial allies, his rise accelerated to unprecedented levels. Rigging arena fights is not unheard of, but Imperial agents brazenly sabotaged the entire system and drugged their champions' competition. None could stand against him. Ah, fuck. Hold on. It said none could stand against him. The whispers of Imperial agents became cheers in the arena. Mandalore, Mandalore, the ancient title of the ultimate warrior king, was thrust upon the young gladiator. His infamy grew, and when he called, the Mandalorians rallied to their new master. The new Mandalore secretly served masters of his own. However, Imperial agents pulled their puppet strings, and the Mandalorian army blockaded the Hydian Way and challenged the Jedi. Though the blockade was eventually broken, the stage was set for the sacking of Coruscant and the uneasy truce which now paralyzes the Republic. The Mandalorian Sith alliance remains intact to this day. That could change if the original ruse were brought to light. But the Imperial intelligence covers its tracks too well. Mandalore was slain recently, and his killer, the new Mandalore, has taken his place. Whether or not he is an Imperial puppet remains to be seen. We must watch him closely. Imperial agents' success in bringing the Mandalorians into the war was the counterplay to the Republic's first string of victories, the subject of my next report. Anyways, guys, as always, oh, wait, we might actually have time. So, the next one is The Return of the Mandalorians. Oh, no, we do not have time for this. I don't think. Actually, no, we do. Okay. Mandalorians, trained from birth to fight in battle, their bodies are honed into killing machines. These independent warrior nomads have challenged the Jedi for centuries. The Mandalorians embrace their conflict and admire strength, but they are different from our dark counterparts. They are not like Sith. Mandalorians believe confrontation is required for growth. On the personal as well as the cultural level, war is the Mandalorian way of life. Combined with their thirst for conquest, it makes them undeniably dangerous. However, we must acknowledge that their commitment to self improvement is not like our own, and there is something respectable about their rugged sense of honor. But they're not our friends. The Mandalorians' allegiance to our enemies has cost us dearly. After the Sith Empire's initial onslaught, the star systems continued to fall, until the Jedi had finally managed to stop the enemy's advance in the mid-rim. For the first time in decades, the Republic Senate breathed a sigh of relief, but it was short-lived. In the arenas of Geonosis, a young gladiator has risen to prominence, calling himself the new Mandalore, a title unclaimed for centuries, a title reserved for the greatest warrior in the galaxy. A warrior worthy to lead the Mandalorians. Though it had been centuries, the descendants of the once proud culture had not forgotten the legends of the Mandalores who had gone before. Spread far and wide, working as mercenaries and bounty hunters, when the new Mandalore called his loyal subjects came. Mandalore's call was simple: to confront the galaxy's greatest challenge and fight the legendary knights of the Jedi Order. Amassing the army overnight, Mandalore planted his forces in the path of the Hydean Way trade route, cutting off the Republic's most critical supply lines. We were initially hesitant to back from the battle with the Sith in the Outer Rim, but after several pleas from the Senate, the supply crisis could not be ignored. The Jedi Order answered the new Mandalore's challenge. We attacked the blockade. Our order was defeated quite profoundly. The Mandalorian blockade held strongly until the day intrepid smugglers took their shot at the Mandalorians and managed to rescue the Republic. Mandalore went on to lead many of his followers to seek new challenges, while others again struck out on their own. The true enigma of the resurgence of the Mandalorian Wars was the rise of the new Mandalore himself. I will endeavor to find clues to this enigma for my next report. Anyways, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Wow, I talked really fast on that one. I am so sorry that was way too fast. I just wanted to get this one done quick so I had enough time. Anyways, guys, I will string this in with the other videos, and you all have a good day. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all soon. Hello, guys, and again, I am back with the history of the Republic and the Jedi. We're back with the Mandalorian blockade. After the sacking of Coruscant, the Jedi Council agreed the Republic had been undone by the bold cunning of the Empire's strategy. A closer look, however, suggests the sacking of Coruscant was not the crowning moment of the Empire's campaign, but rather a risky maneuver undertaken. After all of the efforts had failed. The Sith only considered turning to such measures after their efforts were undermined by an unlikely Republic ally, the criminal smuggling contingent that broke the Mandalorian blockade. Blockade choked the primary trade route for providing Republic military support to the Outer Rim, and the main hyperlane for bringing raw goods from the colonies to the core worlds. Long-standing holdouts in the Outer Rim began folding to the Empire, and critical supplies vanished from core worlds almost overnight. As starvation swept through the lower levels of Coruscant, riots broke out planet-wide. Talk in the Senate veered sharply toward a complete surrender to the Sith Empire. It was at this critical hour that a Marillion smuggler named Hilo Vis's, I don't know how to say his name, I'm sorry guys, recognized an extraordinary business opportunity for her and her partner. The Republic willing to pay any price for raw goods. Hilo's plan was simple: break the Mandalorian blockade. Loading massive freighters with all the goods the Outer Rim had to offer, Hilo and her fellow smugglers hauled their loads to within a parsec of the blockade and stopped still. Distracted by suspicious freighters, the Mandalorians never knew what hit them. A motley fleet of small starships dropped out of hyperspace and opened fire. A massive space battle ensued. The smugglers' light fighters ran rings around the Mandalorian cruisers. But even so, Hilo Visks and her band were outmatched. Fortunately, Republic Strategic Information Systems was tipped off, and starfighters were scrambled from nearby systems. With their assistance, the Mandalorians were quickly overcome. The blockade broken, Hilo Visk, I'm just going to call her Visk, by the way, guys, I'm sorry. This brought freighters full of raw goods into Coruscant and walked away with more wealth than she had ever imagined. An elaborate medal ceremony was held in her honor, but Hilo never showed. She was long gone. Rumor has it, Hilo Viz was killed a year later for double-crossing the Hutts. Regardless, through this unlikely hero's efforts, the Republic war effort gained a reprieve. At the time, many believed the Empire was behind the Mandalorian blockade. My research indicates a far more elaborate explanation. I will share that in my next report. I don't know how much time we're at. Oh, we have enough time. Okay. The Treaty of Coruscant. And I believe, yep, this is the last one, guys. The last one was BTC7. They all should be down here. You should be able to see them. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Anyways, greetings. I am Master Nostrel, keeper of the Jedi Archives. The Jedi Council requests I perform a daunting task to revise the Order's historical records in light of new revelations about the formation of the Sith Empire. Specifically, I am to trace the conflict between the Empire and the Republic, the Sith and the Jedi, to uncover the roots of the struggle which now plagues us. I've chosen to begin with the singular defining event of recent years, the unprecedented peace agreement between the Sith and the Galactic Republic, the Treaty of Coruscant. 3 centuries after the death of Darth Malak and the end of the Jedi Civil War, the true Sith Empire returns from deep space. Attacking the Republic, they began a war unlike any other in the galaxy's history. The Galactic War dragged on for decades. Thousands of Jedi and Sith were slain. Countless star systems were ravaged. Though he now controlled half the galaxy, the Sith Emperor grew impatient. He had expected his triumph to come quickly. The lords of the Emperor's Dark Council surprised the Republic Senate with an offer of peace, a reprieve the Republic could not afford to ignore. Matters had become complicated for the Republic war effort since the critical trade route between the Outer Rim and the core worlds was recovering from the Mandalorian blockade. The Jedi Council, the Jedi Council urged caution as the Senate to consider the Sith's offer, but even they had to agree. The war was unwinnable. Peace was the only hope. The Republic and Imperial diplomats convened on the planet of Alderaan to discuss a galaxy-wide ceasefire. But the Sith still had one play to make. The Imperial fleet launched a surprise attack on the Republic capital of Coruscant, bombing the planet from orbit and storming the city world's bottomless towers. The Coruscant's defenses incapacitated the Imperials, annihilated the Jedi Temple, captured the Senate Tower, held the entire planet hostage. Back on Alderaan, the Republic's diplomats had no choice. Despite unfavorable terms, the Treaty of Coruscant was signed. Jedi and Republic troops began withdrawing from battlefields around the galaxy, leaving star systems to fend for themselves and to be quickly swallowed up by the Sith Empire. The Jedi returned to Coruscant to find their temple in ruins and irate senators blaming the Jedi for all the Republic's troubles. Though still committed to defending the Republic, the Jedi relocated to their ancient homeworld of Tython to rest, meditate, and seek guidance from the Force. Thus began the unprecedented stalemate, the Jedi reconnecting from their roots, the Sith Republic nursing its wounds, the Sith consolidating their power, and the galaxy dividing between darkness and light. In retrospect, this outcome was inevitable and would have come sooner if not for some of the Republic's less savory allies. Now, of course, this doesn't end here. There is the Old Republic, the video game, which takes place after the fact of all this. Now, thank you guys so much for watching the history of the Jedi and the Old Republic. Of course, we will go on into the Clone Wars, hopefully later on. The Clone Wars raged on for 3 long years. And of course, I will see you all soon. And as always, may the Force be with you, and welcome to the Leather Army. I am the Leather Bro, and I will see you all in another video. Bye-bye.